This week's Parsha is Parshat Chukat, and I'm sitting outside in Negba Keramika here in Netanya because the connection with two phrases in this week's Parsha was too good an opportunity to miss. We read two phrases, V'kibes Bagdav HaKohen V'rachatz Basaro B'mayim, and the Kohen launders his clothes and washes his body in water. And the second time we read the phrase V'kives Bagdav Rachatz B'mayim, and he launders his clothes and washes in water. The first case is when the Kohen has performed the ceremony of the red heifer, and in the second case when one has come into contact with a dead body. In both cases, water performs a purification function, not specifically and necessarily of a physical nature, but certainly, and more importantly, of a spiritual nature. And the importance of spirituality is reinforced in this week's Sedra with the famous story of Moses, who is told by the Almighty when the people are complaining that there's no water to go and speak to the rock, with the intention that the Almighty will make water pour forth from the rock. For some unaccountable reason, Moses strikes the rock and doesn't speak to it. Commentators give various explanations. After 40 years of schlepping a people through the desert and still getting complaints, a momentary lack of spiritual confidence in the Almighty could perhaps be understandable, and certainly for a lesser mortal, totally understandable. But in the case of Moses, it has a catastrophic consequence in that it loses him his right to enter into the land of Israel with the people that he has led for so long. One may consider this an extremely harsh judgment, but when dealing with a leader of Moses' standing, the standards set by the Almighty are so high that a lapse in a lesser mortal is considered a very serious act and lack of judgment in someone of such high stature. Perhaps we can learn from this that sometimes that extra moment of thought, that extra moment of thinking before we act, can sometimes pay tremendous dividends. And a moment of rashness before that moment of thought can sometimes have some very, very significant consequences. Wishing you Shabbat Shalom.